Well, another day. The sunlight is finally out. Kind of got a bit of a dilemma today. We have this project, if we choose to, which really kind of the next step is, besides some minor work, is to put the motor in. Then we have this, which just came in. These are the brackets for the trailer of the mini Fiberglass Freedom Machine. That involves taking the boat down to the boat ramp, which right now is low tide. Leave the boat down there, bring the trailer back up here by itself, take the whole back bars off, which I don't even have the bolts for, so I'd have to make a trip to Home Depot. Then we have number 3. That there is the interior for the Donzi I just brought upstairs, which has been sitting down there since last year. And today we have a prospective buyer coming by in a couple hours to take it for a ride and see if they're going to take it home with them. Everything looks good so far, but we'll see how it works out. Fingers are crossed. Like I said before, once you make a decision on selling a boat, it's pretty much a done deal. You're going to sell it. So that dilemma is kind of over for me. And if this one don't work out, then I'll probably be putting it up for sale elsewhere. But at the moment, I've got about 3.5 hours to kill, and I've got all these projects that every one of them is a little more in detailed than 3 hours. Dilemmas. Alright, I've gone ahead and I removed my one motor mount here and actually went and notched it out a little bit more around the cables. That way, I mean, it's not supposed to move around, but I didn't want it to vibrate and tap at some place. That would have drove me absolutely nuts, especially right here. It would have sounded like a bottom end tap, which would have really sucked. And on top of that, you know, with anything, I mean, these cables are old, stainless steel, of course, but they're old, and you start tapping them on one certain spot over and over again, or they start chafing against something, and they're going to split no sure as crap. So it's the right thing to do. I also went ahead and just added a tiny bit more to this notch. It was already big enough, but I just kind of like cleaned it up a little bit, and that's on the plate of the motor, so that should be all done. All right, it's time to take it back out and repaint it. Ow, 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 this is hot. So I went ahead and I got my steering cables installed. Got them pretty tight too. Seems like I've got a lot of adjustment up front. We have our motor mount out, of course. It's for touch-up paint. But right now I have to go up underneath the dash. Got a new pigeon friend. Usually has a mate. He's flighty as hell though. They ain't like city pigeons. I'll tell you, even if I move in this boat, he'll fly off. It's the only 2 pigeons we've seen down here. I mean, we're only like 10 miles as the crow flies from the city, but yet, no pigeons. Another thing weird down here too is you rarely ever see a seagull. It's just pretty strange. Alright, back on to the real world. Wow, it's a pretty horrible mess under here right now. As I said, it hasn't even been de-winterized, so to speak. But at the moment, I'm here to look at this guy. This is pretty much my steering. This shaft is actually connected to the steering wheel. It goes to that plate, which on the back of that, behind it right here, there's actually a little sprocket. And this here's chain. And the chain moves back and forth like so, and then these turnbuckles actually attach it to the steel cable. So what I wanted to do is I want to tighten up this one just a little bit and loosen up that one. That kind of balances the two between, that way you get full length of the chain. And then I need to take these wires here, I need to take this one off, and I need to install 2 new safety wires. If not, they'll actually unspool themselves and you'll all of a sudden have a lot of slack in your steering, and then it just comes apart, and that's bad news. Alright, got my turnbuckles all wired in. They're not going anywhere. Everything's nice and tight, pretty much centered as much as possible. I could do a tiny bit more, but it wouldn't really be worth the effort because it's not going to affect anything. Now it's time to get out from underneath this bow of this tiny little boat. And while it's 95 degrees out with 85% humidity, I don't know if I'm going to get out of here. Wow. That was simple. I mean, that was just too simple. Guy came and handed me a stack of cash. Said, didn't even want a test drive. Took my word for it, and up the street it went. Buy little Donzi, which is all good. From what I understand, it's going to a 17-year-old, almost 18-year-old who really is like wanting a Donzi bad, bad, bad. He has models and all kinds of different stuff. Little experience in a boat, so he seems to be okay there. Owns a jet ski and a couple other little things, but this is his first I don't know, classic, I guess. His parents are all about it. He's all about it. They live on a nice river down on the Eastern Shore. It's all good. Hope it has a nice life. It's better than sitting in the backwoods of Maine, I guess, in pieces. But now we're back to this. That's still hot as hot can be. I was hoping the sun would go behind the trees here in a few minutes, but it's really just dragging out as long as it can. As soon as it gets down behind a tree a little bit, it'll cool off over here. Out in the sun, it's like, I don't know, jumping in a frying pan. And even though I'm standing on this empty spot of where my Donzi used to sit, don't feel bad for me. In a roundabout way, I'm trading it for a little bit of terra firma. Yes, ladies and germs, I'm buying some dirt. Basically, 2 lots in my neighborhood came up for sale. Not that the Donzi will cover all of it, but it does do a great portion of it. And even though Donzis come and go, I don't think they're making any more earth. Or at least not in Maryland, they're not. So I think it's a fair trade. Well, here we are. It's about getting dark again, a little after 8:30. Motor is set. What I thought was going to take 15 minutes ended up taking an hour and 15 minutes because, I don't know, maybe the boat's just hot. It's been sitting out here. Motor's hot. Aluminum's hot. Everything's kind of like a little tiny bit off here and there, and you have to pull everything this way, pull everything that way. But all the original holes match up, so that means it's exactly where it was. That's all that's necessary. And when I start another day, I'll be putting the rest of it together. I mean, I pretty much, the only thing I have in is the motor mount plate in the front and the rear mounts in the back, and I haven't even put the lag bolts in the top yet. So got carburetor, got hoses, got cables, got all kinds of stuff left to do. But for now, I have to go clean up from a missing boat and from this project, and I like to do it before it gets dark, and that's probably about 10 minutes. So see you another day. So, and flash over with a switch. Didn't need any more. Yeah, really not sure what I got on film and what I did last night, so I'm going to do this a little bit again. Wow, it's a horrible mess under here. Do that again.